Good morning. So somebody wrote in to ask Andrea and they said, what does a day look like if you're not traveling, if you don't have a wedding? I only do 3 to 5 events a year. So what do I do with the rest of my time? First coffee, and now come on with me. I'm going to show you.
I wake up at 5:30 every morning. I pet my dog, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and I immediately start getting ready. If you've seen me on TikTok or on Instagram, any of the getting ready with me videos, you know that I live in this kimono robe. So many of you have asked me about it. It's from a company called ULIVARY. It's beautiful, it's lightweight, it's so comfortable. I'm going to link it below. But by 6:15, I am ready. And at that point, I go ahead, I grab my coffee, which I always drink out of a wine glass, and I start the process of waking up my son and my husband. So on this day, my husband was taking my son to work so that I could really quick change. I had a 6:30 a.m. conference call. So I'm somebody who really believes that like my environment is a reflection of my internal monologue. So when I go downstairs, I immediately grab water with lemon juice, I refill my coffee, and then I have to put everything away. So I've run the dishes from the night before, I'm putting them away, I'm making sure that the kitchen is clean and tidy. I make myself my kind of first AM snack, and then I wrap up before I take my toast and my beverages and I head into our home office. So 6:30 in Las Vegas is 9:30 p.m. or I'm sorry, 9:30 a.m. in New York. My people in New York, my corporate clients, my production partners, floral teams, rental teams, photographers, they've been up and at it for hours. And on this particular day, I had an all team meeting for a conference that I'm doing in a couple of weeks here in Las Vegas. It's a trade show. We're expecting over 3,000 people into the city. And so I need to be, I need to be awake. I need to be polished. I need to be professional because at this point, I'm trying to work out all the last minute details because we're about to welcome a tremendous number of people into Las Vegas. And this is a huge project. So I got on this video chat. We did a Google meeting from 6:30 a.m. until about 7:15. And at that point, my husband is back from dropping off our son, and I transition over, and now it's my turn, and I take our daughter to school. So I really like to do at least one a drop off or a pickup. And then once I know she's in the doors and she's got her day started, I now head over to the gym. Lifetime Fitness, one of my favorite places in Las Vegas. We as wedding industry professionals, we as creatives, we work so hard. We're in our head so much. We're traveling, we're doing tastings, we're doing all sorts of things. The ability to just carve out 45 minutes to an hour, it's just 5% of my day to do something to kind of set me up mentally. It's good for my body, it's good for my mind. I'm able to listen to podcasts, and again, by the time I get home, which it's 8:15, I'm able to start making breakfast for my husband and I, feeling really accomplished. I've gotten ready, I've cooked, I've gone to the gym, I've made the bed, I've cleaned the kitchen, I've done all of the things. And now by 9 o'clock, Tony and I can sit down and we can have breakfast together. So this is just like, it's such a silly little thing, but it's so important that my husband and I get to connect over a meal. It's like a little at home date. We do everything together. We live together. We raise our kids together. We work together. We share an office together. And so right after breakfast, we both head into the office. He does his work, I do mine, and then I run into the kitchen. I take some vitamins and I make him a quick snack and sandwich because he's going to be out at Lotus House all day, and I just want to make sure that he's got some things to take with him. Run upstairs, back into a shower, and I know people are like, why are you getting ready twice? Once was just for the video conference call, and then I have to shower because I went to the gym. And now I just want to kind of put myself back together so that I am ready for kind of published consumption.
Hi, honey.
We also kind of share a closet together. Yeah, I guess we do all the things. So
Filming a bunch
we
of
both
B-roll so
get
that I
ready
can
together. We have this little L-shaped closet,
put it in
and then we headed off
the video for
to
tonight.
Lotus House. Lotus House is a local Las Vegas venue. It's a premier space in Las Vegas. It's a beautiful 6,000 square foot mansion estate that we helped to transform into the most beautiful dressing suite, the most amazing wedding venue. I am a part of the team in that I sit in on business meetings, I help with marketing, I help with client retention and services. And so on this day, we were meeting with our partners just to discuss business for the upcoming year, making some adjustments to our partnerships, making some adjustments to our organizational chart. Really,
Okay.
this is about just keeping everyone on
Sure,
the
there you
same
are.
page. After the main part of the meeting, I decided to stay and listen in, and this lets me kind of multitask. I always have a coffee, a hot tea, and water. I'm able to listen to the meeting while I'm also doing things like text messaging, searching on Pinterest, looking for inspiration. I'm responding to emails, I'm taking notes. This is a kind of, it's an hour, hour and a half where I can listen and pop in to what is needed in terms of, do they have a question for me? Is there anything I need to be involved in? But I'm also able to multitask. And then I thought, how great
I
would
just
it
have
be
to get
to add
this
a little
fucking
tasting?
thing done.
Rolling with the dough, fantastic bakery here in town. They brought
Oh,
this
they
cute
gave
little
us good
wedding cake
stuff.
and then an entire bag of
These are my
goodies for
favorite
my
things.
kids, for the team, and for
Why?
everyone to try. So you don't see it, but they label
Nobody should.
everything absolutely no bananas for me because I have a
You
tremendous
have a body and
anaphylactic
there's a beach,
allergy
which means
to bananas.
you
Those
are in
biscottis
fact
are one of the best
beachbody
things
ready.
I've ever had in my life. I left
Mine
most
too.
of these
I
items for the
love
team
them.
at Lotus House because after spending the day at the
They're
gym, I
so
certainly
good.
wasn't going to eat them
That's why I
all,
don't have
but I
any in
did
our
taste the wedding
house.
cake, the biscotti, and the cookies. And at that point, it was about 1:30 and I went to pick up my son from school. So I spent the morning with my daughter. Now I pick up my son. We all have a snack. We all have lunch. This is really when the kids are going to sit and tell me about their day. What are they doing at school? What are they looking at? I make myself a salad. It gives me that 45 minutes of time with my kids before I take my salad back to the office. It's now 2:30, 2:45, and I know that I can now sit at my desk really from say 3 to 5 and get in 2 hours of deep work. So when I got the email on Ask Andrea that's like, if you're not doing a wedding and if you're not traveling, what exactly do you do all day? This isn't my usual content. It's not filmed how I usually film it. The voiceover is not something I normally do. But I hope that it's helpful in that you see so much thinking, so much planning, so much administration and logistical work goes into events, whether it's a wedding that I'm working on, or a trade show, or some type of charity event. I normally have at least 2 to 3 screens going. I have my laptop, I have my iPad, I have my phone. I am taking notes. I'm responding to emails. I'm responding to text messages. 9 times out of 10, especially when my husband is working from home, I do go and sit in the kitchen and actually eat a full meal. But on this day, there was so much back and forth in terms of driving. I did decide to eat at my desk. And, it's hundreds of emails. It's reading timelines. It's writing timelines. It's grabbing, quick notes from a client. It's seeing something that sparks an idea that I then write down in my notebook and say, like, circle back to this, because in 2 hours I can respond to everybody. I can create new content. I can map out the rest of my week. I can talk to new clients. I can talk to my production teams. I can connect with my vendors, because at 5 o'clock I had to get back into the car and take my son across town about 45 minutes because I'm so proud of him. He is going to be performing in the all state musical concert for his guitar. Now, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back for a 3 hour rehearsal doesn't make sense for me to go back home. So at this point, I turn my car into my little office and I sit there with my coffee, with my tea, with my water. I have my iPad. I review the notes that I took earlier, and this is really when I start to sketch and design. Okay, so I took a 45-minute phone call from a client, which I'm totally fine taking phone calls after hours. Doesn't bother me. In fact, I really enjoy it because number one, my clients tend to work during the day. And so it's totally fine that I take a phone call.
It's also kind of downtime for me. My daughter's with my husband, my son is at his practice, I'm sitting in the car. They get a captive audience. There's nothing else taking my attention. I can really just sit, listen to what they're saying, process their thoughts, work them through everything. And I don't know if is this okay, even light? All right. So I think I have another hour, hour and a half sitting here. So I'm going to go back to sketching and pulling inspiration for my next client.
So I go back to sketching, and I've got this client. I have this couple. I just adore them, Taylor and Rob. They're getting married in September. They have a really high risk tolerance, and so they want to do something new, which is so fun for me because it lets me dream, it lets me play, it lets me think, and I am able to just spend this time in the car drawing, sketching, making mistakes, crossing them out, figuring out which pieces I really like, which pieces I don't. I make notes that I'm going to share with my production partner. And in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking to myself, oh, frick, what about dinner? But because I was going to be out with my son so much, normally 5 or 6 nights a week, we eat dinner as a family. I cook, my husband helps clean up afterwards. But on this night, because I was going to be out of the house, my husband took my daughter on a little daddy and me date night. So the two of them went out to dinner on their own. My son had texted me and said he wanted Chipotle. So I picked up Chipotle for him, and then I came back and I reheated this delicious, insane kind of bean farro soupy stew that I had made. And my son and I ate together. My daughter popped down, sat with us for a little while. We spent about an hour together. And then I went back into my room and finished up anything that I missed. So it feels like I work all the time, and I do. But if you look at my day, there's such fluidity and there's such flexibility. I'm able to be a mom and a wife when I need to be a mom and a wife. I'm able to work in a way that allows me to live the life that I want. And then at 10:15, all of the electronics get plugged in, and it is time for me to go to bed. I hope you enjoyed this little peek, this little snapshot on a day in the life. If you have any other questions, please let me know. And as always, thanks for spending your day with me.